Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Welcome to the K-Files this morning. First of all, I want to start out by thanking our sponsors for the show. We want to thank J.P. Barnes. He's not with us today, but Barnes Safety is a very good, great, has been very long-standing with this show from the very beginning. So thank you, J.P. Barnes, for your sponsorship of this program. Get your concealed carry class registered and get ready to do that. I have with me a familiar face, Lieutenant Jeff Sherrod, this morning from the Nash County Sheriff's Office. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So glad to have you.
Thank you.
And you know, Lieutenant, you know that there's a lot of bad that goes with law enforcement as far as crime and all of that, but there's good. There's always good things to talk about. And you're going to start out with a good thing.
We will.
Let's do that.
Well, we made an arrest down in Bailey on the Mark Borkin case that JP's always talking about. That was a friend of his. I actually grew up in Bailey, and so I've known Mark for a long time. And we were actually able to make 3 arrests, and we were able to charge, there is Davis Terrell Graham. He's from Wilson. We were able to charge him. The next picture is William Victor Kent, and who's also from Wilson. And the last one was Michael Brandon Jones. He was from the Bailey area. We were able to arrest him down in Fayetteville. Tremendous help from Wilson Police Department in these arrests.
Right.
And also when we went to Fayetteville, Fayetteville Police Department also helped us as well with locating Mr. Jones.
Okay, and tell us what happened. What did they do?
It's alleged that they were trying to steal a highway dump trailer from the property across the road from Mr. Borkin's house, and he walked up on them, and it just went bad from there.
Yeah. We remember JP talking about this on the show right much.
All 3 suspects were charged with assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill, inflicting serious injury. Larceny of a firearm, and attempted felony larceny, where they tried to steal the trailer but they didn't get away with it.
Right.
So all of them were placed in the Nash County Jail under a $250,000 bond. So hopefully they'll stay there for a little while.
Yeah, hopefully so. So is Mike Boykin okay now?
Mark. He's at home, Boykin. And he's got a lot of follow-up visits, and I think he's actually got to have some more surgery. But he's on the road to recovery.
Remarkably,
he is. It'll be a long road, but he's doing well. I saw him a couple of days before we were able to make the arrest, and I've talked to him on the phone since we've made the arrest, and it'll be a long road for him, so hopefully everything works out for him.
Well, at least he's alive.
Exactly.
And that's the good thing.
Exactly.
Okay, and we also want to talk about one of your own got an award.
Yes, I don't know if you remember, but 2 days ago, Deputy Shelby Smith, right there in the middle, was recognized in Durham from the Hometown Hero program that's sponsored by the North Carolina Automotive Dealer Association for her life-saving efforts in the deadly assault on I-95 with Deputy William Toney. Ended up getting shot 4 times.
Right.
So she was awarded the award for the hometown hero. In that picture was Major Alan Wilson was there. Of course, that's Deputy Shelby Smith right there in the middle. That's Secretary of Public Safety Eddie Buffalo, and then of course Sheriff Keith Stone on the end.
Wow.
So that was a good thing for her. And once again, like you just said about Mark, luckily Deputy Toney wasn't killed.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We were certainly glad that he's doing well now.
He's doing well.
Very well
He's
now.
on the road to recovery. And you know, and Senator, we talk about this when Sheriff Stone does his concealed carry classes. We talk about this actual shooting when we do his concealed carry class. But a lot of people don't realize until you tell them. But do you also know what happened on this day?
Mm-mm.
So probably 90% of Nash County Sheriff's Office was on I-95 because of the shooting. We were either on the scene helping the SBI investigate. We had deputies transporting ambulances with Deputy Toney in it to Nash General, and then of course to end up going to Greenville Viaduct. But within 15 minutes at noon on this same day, Rocky Mount had 2 homicides back to back. And great job by Rocky Mount Police Department. They were able to solve both of those cases.
Yes.
But that just shows you, on a given day, anything can go bad. I mean, you talking about 2 homicides and a deputy being shot in the same 4 hours.
How horrible.
But you know, and
All
luckily,
in one day.
All in one day. And luckily, law enforcement won on this day. We were able to get the guy that shot Deputy Toney, and Rocky Mount Police Department was able to solve both of those homicides.
That is wonderful.
So,
that is wonderful.
So we did good on those on this day.
Yes, absolutely. Wow.
So, but as you said, we also talk about the good stuff.
Yeah.
So one day last week, we got a suspicious person called down around the Bailey, Middlesex area, and when we got there, we found a guy lurking around, looking, acting suspicious, and we took him into custody, and lo and behold, it was the Grinch.
Wow. Now, by the Grinch, what does the Grinch do? He steals
Christmas. So, and then this picture right here, so we took him into custody, and as you can see in the picture, he's got a Nash County jumpsuit on.
He does.
So Sheriff Stone decided that part of his punishment would be he had to ride in all the Christmas parades and help throw out candy to the children.
So, yeah, and we were filming Rocky Mount, and so, for real, that was the real one. I thought he was just using a Grinch to represent the guy that did this.
We told him the sheriff decided he had to, like I said, ride in the Christmas parades and pass out candy to all the children.
Is that not the ultimate punishment?
So he had to ride with us. I think we did
awesome.
three parades, and he had to ride in the back with the sheriff and throw out candy.
Oh my goodness! Well, if I'd have got caught for that, and versus what I might have got, I think I'd be riding in a parade.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's really. That's funny because, like I said, now I saw the Grinch and I said, oh, he's just doing that because they just caught the Grinch and put him in jail, probably, and they're just using that. You know, somebody dressed up in a suit to.
I'm not gonna say it was the same exact guy, but it was mocked to be that way.
Yeah. That's so funny. That is so funny.
And and speaking of the Grinch, and I mean, like you said, it's always good to talk about things that are good, but Major Misty Strickland found out about the Grinch. It's a gentleman up in, I think he's from Franklin County, his name's Kevin Brown.
Mm-hmm.
He started that, the Grinch, dressing up as the Grinch, and he's doing it in memory of his son named Cody Brown, who passed away at an early age. And so he started what he calls a Cody Brown Christmas, and he dresses up as the Grinch and goes around, and he collects donations throughout the year, and then he takes all the money that he was raised and goes back, and around Christmas time he picks needy families and buys Christmas presents and gives to the kids that wouldn't have known. So, you know, once we heard about that, Major Strickland got him, you know, to come to Nash County, of course, and then we were able to I guess dress it up from there, arrest him, and make it fun, and try to get people in the holiday spirits and stuff like that. So.
Wow. Well, I can always count on the Nash County. You know, they're always, Sheriff Atkinson is always in the parade, and so is Sheriff Stone. They and the police, Rocky Mount Police Chief was in it, so we're well represented in our parades with our law enforcement. So that makes us feel really good when they come up and, you know, wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And it makes us feel good that our sheriffs and our police chief are all out there taking their extra time. This is a day, this is Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
It's a day that they could be at home unless something terrible happens. But it's a day that they could be at home, and they're not. They're out with the public, celebrating and telling you Merry Christmas.
Exactly.
So it's great. It's just a great thing, you know.
Is. And just the last thing that I would like to cover is that, you know, it is the holiday time, and we ask the public to please lock your car doors.
Yes.
You know, people out shopping now. So we've had a couple incidents where we've had reports of people going into neighborhoods and just walking through the neighborhoods and pulling on door handles. If it's unlocked, they go in it.
Right.
If it's not locked, if it's locked, they just keep right on moving. You know, the days of busting a window out are over because it makes too much noise. Alarms go off.
Too many alarms out there. And folks, how crazy can you be? Do you not know that if you pick your nose, you're going to be on camera?
That's right.
I mean, your cameras are everywhere.
Exactly. And but you know, people just, I guess they feel some sense of security when they're at home, and they leave their guns and stuff and valuables in the car, and these people, they're just pulling on the door handles. If it's unlocked, they go in and get whatever's in there. And we've had a couple incidents where there have been at least 3 or 4 guns left in cars, and now there's 3 or 4 guns out on the street because somebody didn't lock their car doors. So it's, you know, it's that time of the year. If they see it, they're going to try to get it because, you know, it's sad to say this, but they want Christmas too.
Yeah, that's right.
They want your Christmas.
They want our Christmas. So, that's exactly right.
And they don't care how they get it, but you know, and so if people could, you know, just remind themselves when they get home, lock their doors so that, you know, if they go through a neighborhood that you live in and they pull a car handle, that if it's locked, they just keep right on moving. So
exactly.
Please lock your doors this time of season.
Absolutely. And I will say, Lieutenant, a lot of rural areas, your mailboxes are out at the road.
Right.
And city now, too. I mean, the postmen, you know, don't want to get out of the car. But anyway, I've seen several packages sticking out of a mail. The door was like ajar because the package was big, and there it is. Yep. Come and get me. Exactly. You know, if you have to have your neighbor, can you get my mail for me because I'm expecting a package, or do something. But don't leave your mail in the mailbox too long this time of year if you're expecting a package. And don't leave them on the porch any longer than you have to.
I agree. I mean, it's simple for somebody to go in a neighborhood, just riding around, see 2 or 3 packages on a porch, run up and get them and be gone in less than a minute.
Yeah, I don't know that if I'm inside my house, if somebody is just walking and not driving in the driveway, maybe they walk from house to house. I wouldn't know if they came up on the porch unless I'm looking out the window.
You're exactly right.
And they're quiet about it. So, folks, Lieutenant's so right. Just watch out for your goods.
Exactly.
I mean, really.
Unfortunately, it's that time of the year, and like I said, they want Christmas too. Unfortunately, they want your Christmas.
Yes, and we want people to be safe when they shop too. I tell people, try to walk out with somebody.
Walk out with someone. We talk about it in the concealed carry class that the sheriff teaches. Walk out with somebody, and you know, and most people have key fobs.
Yes.
The best defense in the world. you see something that you don't like, mash the alarm on it.
Yeah, hit that alarm.
Because as soon as that alarm goes off, what are everybody going to do?
Yes.
Turn and look and see whose alarm is going
That's
off.
exactly
So,
right.
you know, keep the key fob in your hand, mash the alarm if you think you see something that you don't like or you just feel uncomfortable about. And, you know, first of all, it's going to deter them a little bit.
Yes.
And second of all, everybody's going to turn and look and see what's going on. So, you know, just, you know, it's that time of season. Just be careful when
Right.
you're going shopping. Like you said, walk out with somebody, try to park near the lights in the parking lot and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So-
And put your packages in the trunk.
Exactly.
Not laying in the seat.
Exactly.
So anyway, there are all kinds of things we can do if we think about it
Exactly.
to protect ourselves,
You're exactly right.
so we don't have to call y'all. So,
You can call us.
But
It'd
we
be a
know
good
you're
thing
there
sometime.
if we call.
We're coming if you call us. I can promise you that.
That's right. Well, thank you, Lieutenant Sherrod, for
You're
being on with us this morning. A lot of good information
Good.
this morning. So we'll see you back in a month.
Yes,
3
ma'am.
weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yes, because he was supposed to come last week, and we're doing this week. So you were busy last week.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll be right back. We're going to have Chief Puckett with us from the Nashville Police Department.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
And good morning. Welcome back. And as promised, I have with me Chief Puckett. Chief Puckett is, of course, the chief of the Nashville Police Department. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm so glad to have you on this morning. So you were chief in Spring Hope,
Yes, ma'am.
and you got a promotion to Nashville.
Well, yes, ma'am. I started my career actually, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me. I started my career actually in Nash County many years ago. I went to Rocky Mount Police Department. I was there for about 12 years, and then I transitioned to Wake Forest Police Department, and then I came in 2014 to Spring Hope as the chief there, expecting to retire there. I didn't
Yes.
expect Tom to retire.
Yeah.
Tom retired, I applied, and I was humbled enough to be selected as chief for the town of Nashville.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, you've always, as long as I've known you, we haven't interacted that much, but whenever I have, you are just a very, to me, personable person and chief. You know, you're very personable. So, anyway, how many officers do you have?
We have 17, well actually we have 18 sworn now, including myself.
Well, you wouldn't think that with the little town of Nashville.
We just got a Governor's Highway Safety Program grant that my captain put in for that started this year. So we have an officer that's dedicated to work nothing but traffic. So we have 18 including him. We're very fortunate to work in a town the size of Nashville. It's a quaint town. However, there is crime there. And you know, based on our population, we are trying to get additional officers.
Right.
But we are very fortunate to have the officers we work with.
Right.
They're very personable officers. You know, there's a lot of truth in community policing, and they
Right.
believe in that concept. In this day
Wonderful.
and time, that's exactly what we need is people that are community police officers.
Well, I want to say that you have a great police presence in Nashville. You know, I go to Walmart, I go to Food Line some in Nashville, and you know, when you're shopping, it's always good to, especially this time of year, to have police presence. I mean, I like it, and I almost always see one at least, you know, when I go shopping. One of them will sometimes just be sitting in the Food Line shopping center.
I often get phone calls. Of course, you know, in law enforcement, you get phone calls about complaints as well.
Mm-hmm.
But more of my calls are actually about compliments for the officers.
Really?
As far as how interactive they are with the community. And that's always a good phone call to get.
Right.
Like I said, we're very fortunate to have the officers we have. They do an outstanding job. They work, you know, 100%. They're dedicated. We call them often for community events and things of that nature. and they don't hesitate to come out.
Wow.
You know, even if they're off, they'll come out. We had the bike parade sponsored
Yes,
by the
you
chamber.
did. That's always
right.
good.
Sponsored by the
Yeah.
chamber and the Parks and Rec department Saturday, and we had officers coming out on their off time, and nobody complains. So you know, we're very fortunate to have the officers we have.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I will say, my biggest problem with Nashville is I want to go too fast when I come through there. So you need to get rid of the officer that's doing traffic.
Well, and Officer Yates is one of those individuals that he you know, everybody has a niche in law enforcement.
Yeah.
You know, for me, my niche was always K9. I was 18 years K9 handler trainer.
Wow.
Officer Yates, his niche is traffic.
Yeah.
Very knowledgeable. Very good at his job, very good at what he does, and he's
Probably
good.
too good.
He's good all the way around, but he is. And we have a new Facebook now. We had the Nashville Police Department Facebook, but because of the rules and policies and regulations, we were unable to get on that Facebook.
Right.
So what we had to do is create a new account. So please go and like our Facebook. But we often get comments on there about not speeding in Nashville, and that's because of those officers. However, you know, that's one of those things that you have to enforce.
Yes.
Speeding, careless and reckless, DWI.
Yes.
Those are things that when people do those things, texting and driving, which is
Yes.
terrible. When people do those things, it jeopardizes and endangers other lives.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
we have to, you know, enforce that and be proactive in that, you know, as a deterrent
Yes.
for people to do that.
Well, you know, right there in the heart of Nashville is residential. Is a
Yes, ma'am.
lot of houses and a lot of, even on the main street that goes in front of the courthouse, there's houses.
Right.
And you can't just go flying in there. There's kids, there's houses. So I understand and I appreciate your wanting to keep, you know, the town safe and traffic-wise and otherwise. Now, let's talk about so if a murder happens in the town of Nashville, you handle your own. Nash County does not handle, unless you ask, you know, sometimes you work together. I understand
Yes.
that.
If a murder happens in Nashville, or any crime, then we investigate that crime.
Yeah.
We are fortunate enough to have very good relationships with the Sheriff's Office, with Rocky Mount Police Department, with surrounding agencies.
Yes.
And we need that communication. We need to be able to work together.
Sure.
So oftentimes, if a homicide or a serious crime happens in a town inside of Nash County will come and assist, and they will, you know, they will help any jurisdiction in that county. But we've had 2 homicides since I've been there, and we were fortunate enough to have them come and assist. But we investigate those homicides. We have an investigative sergeant who is, you know, hands and fists above many.
Right.
He does an outstanding job, Sergeant Shockley, and what he does is he is the supervisory investigator. So he ensured that the investigation goes in the right place.
Right.
We have a Detective Bell, who is very knowledgeable, very good at what he does. What we do, though, is we help each other.
That's good to know.
We often depend on other agencies. Rocky Mount has TFOs, tactical field officers, and what they do is if we have a gun crime, they have 2 ATF TFOs.
Right.
So if we have a gun crime where there's a convicted felon, he's committed a gun crime or a violent crime, we will ask for their assistance and try to take that case on a federal level.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what we have to do. We have to work together. We have to communicate with each other.
Yes.
Crime is not just occurring in one particular area in Nash
Right.
County. Crime is occurring in all the areas. But most of the time, when somebody commits like the Cadillac converter crimes, all those are going to be related. And if we're not sharing information with each other, you know, we're beating ourselves with a dead horse.
Right.
We have to share that information with each other. And we just started a chiefs meeting, local chiefs meeting with Nash,
that's
Wilson, and
good.
Edgecombe counties. Chief Jesse Webb with Tarboro started that up, and he's heading it
Yeah.
up. And it's one way for us to share information. We're also going to, you know, branch out and have detectives meetings. People have to talk to each
Wonderful.
other, so that way we can share that information. The DA.
Communication is key.
It is the primary key. Robert Evans, the DA, he's actually attending those meetings. We have to work with the DA's office. Everybody who has a partnership in that, they're coming to the table, and then we're actually, you know, using that information to better solve crime and to better prosecute those crimes.
Right.
It doesn't stop when we arrest an individual. It has to go through the court process.
Absolutely.
So everybody that is involved in that process is actually communicating with each other.
Right. Wonderful. Well, on that note, we will take a break, come back with our weather forecast, and Chief Puckett will stay right here with me. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, we'll be right back.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.
Okay, and we're back, myself and Chief Puckett, to carry you through to the 9 o'clock hour. So, Chief Puckett, when you walked in, and I don't remember you in the past having a beard, what is that all about?
We're having we have a No Shave November for the police department. So what happens is the officers within the police department give a certain amount of money, and all of our money goes to Special Olympics. And
that's such a good cause.
And it's a wonderful cause, and these are special athletes.
Yes.
And law enforcement across the state often do a lot for Special Olympics. However, what we're doing in Nashville is we are raffling off a Polaris Ranger. And if you go to our Facebook, there's actually a QR code on our Facebook, and you can purchase tickets. They're $20 a piece, and we're doing a live drawing on December 20th at 5 o'clock. So I encourage your viewers to support a good cause. Go on our Facebook, and if you don't want to go on Facebook, or if you don't have Facebook, you can call our police department and you can buy the tickets in person.
Right.
We take cash or debit card. But it's for a good cause, $20 a ticket, and we'll do the drawing on December 20th at 5 o'clock.
Wow. Well, you know, it's for a good cause, and it's a great prize. Golly, a Polaris Ranger.
Just in time for Christmas.
Yes.
Perfect
my
Christmas
word.
present.
Yeah, December 20th.
And all it takes is one ticket. You might buy the winning ticket.
Wow. Yeah, you might. You know, people say all the time, because we're always doing something like this, and people tell me, no, I won't win. I won't win. Well, you know what? If you don't buy a ticket, you won't win.
That's right.
But if you do buy a ticket, you do stand a chance. And, you know, I don't think anybody that we've ever, when we have these events, I don't think anybody's ever not said, when the winner has, they always say, I didn't think I would win. Well, of course you didn't, but you did. So help them out. Help them out. So tell them again how you can get tickets.
Again, you can go on our Facebook, and there's a QR code on our Facebook, and you can scan that QR code and purchase the tickets on our Facebook. You can also buy the tickets in person, and we can do hand-to-hand transactions.
They can
cash
just
or
come
debit
right
card.
down there to
They come
Nashville
right to the
PD.
police department. Yes, ma'am, and we have them right there.
Okay.
So that's it's a wonderful way to support Special Olympics.
Right.
As I said, these are special athletes. You know, and law enforcement generally supports Special Olympics across our state, across the nation.
Yeah.
But we actually had a sergeant who rappelled down a building. He raised enough money to rappel down the building in Raleigh. This is an event and a cause that we've decided to support this year because it needs our support. And we would like the community to help us, you know, support this special cause.
Well, we need to do that, because Special Olympics, tell them a little bit about what Special Olympics is about.
Well, I mean, these are athletes that may have some type of disability, but they compete. And Special Olympics Foundation actually helps to raise money to allow these athletes to compete.
Yeah, imagine how these guys feel, you know, with self-esteem and things like that. They're able to do something.
That's right. And when we have our drawing, we're going to try to have some of these wonderful athletes out there with us.
Oh, great, great.
So,
that would be really good.
That's what we're going to try to do.
Wonderful. So how many, you told us how many police officers you have, but now you do have applications in. People do want to work for the Nashville Police Department because you've got a lot of applications in, don't you?
We've actually got applications of people wanting to come to the police department. Now, right now we don't have any positions, but I am hoping that in July we will get some more positions. But it is a wonderful place to work. It's a wonderful town. We have a wonderful administrative staff, but the officers and the supervisors are just great. We run a squad with a sergeant and 2 officers on the squad. And then we also have a detective division, and that consists of a supervisory sergeant, investigative sergeant, and a detective. Then we have our administrative staff, and we have a wonderful administrative assistant up front.
Right.
So it is a wonderful place to work. It's just, a great environment.
Yes.
And we want to keep the town of Nashville, as that. We also have a new officer. His name is Renzo.
Okay.
We were able to acquire a police K-9 from Southern Police K-9 in Beaumont, North Carolina.
Wonderful.
We put in for some grants. The Raleigh Kennel Club actually helped us and sponsored us to help purchase this dog, and then we used special funds to purchase the dog. Officer Stallings went through a 6-week handler course. After the course, he went through a North Carolina Police Dog Association certification.
Wow.
So he is fully certified, ready to go on the street. We would encourage, and hopefully we will have him there on December 20th, but we would encourage people to, come by and visit him, ask for a public demonstration.
Yeah.
We'd be glad to do that.
Well, you need to get him to bring Renzo in here.
And that's exactly what we would like to do.
Please do that.
We would like, because, dogs are wonderful assets to law enforcement. They are tools that have a function that no other machine can replicate.
Yes, absolutely.
Whereas if we walk into Italian Pizzeria,
yes,
or Pizza Hut or Domino's, I don't want to leave anybody out of the Pizza Inn, we smell a pizza. If a dog walks in, that dog can differentiate between every odor. That dog can smell the pepperoni, the tomato paste, the cheese, everything on that pizza.
Wow.
So that's why we use that dog, because that dog, when it comes to drug sniffs or drug odor, that dog can differentiate between that odor of that drug and other odors. We use the dog for the value of their nose.
Yes.
And that's why we use dogs in law enforcement. So they're excellent tools, and there's not a piece of machinery that can replicate that technique or that reason that we use that dog. So, we're very fortunate, and, I thank the council for supporting the idea of putting that dog on the street.
That's great.
When we talk about assistance from other agencies, Nash County has a K-9 program, and we had several situations where we had to call Nash County and ask for their assistance on a jump and run or a track or a dementia patient or something like that. What I want Nashville to do is be self-sufficient. And they were, Nash County has been wonderful.
Right.
And they always have been in assisting us. Sometimes they have, crime to, or things to do in the county too.
Yes.
So we may call them, and they may not have a dog readily available, or a dog may not be able to come out. I want to have that dog available right then, because if somebody with dementia walks away, we want that dog right there to find that person and safely return that person to their home.
Would that not be wonderful?
So.
How wonderful. And these dogs are treated like an officer. I mean, when they pass away, it's really devastating to the department. They become close to, and especially the handler, the owner. What do you call it? Handler, owner?
The handler.
The handler. That's what I thought.
Like the town actually owns it, owns the dog. However, you spend more time as a canine handler with your dog than you do with your family. I've had 3 dogs in my years of history with law enforcement.
Right.
And I spent more time with those dogs than I did my wife and my children.
Sure.
So you build that bond, and that bond is there. Then what we often do, law enforcement agencies, they will, when a dog retires, they will give the dog to the handler, and the dog will stay with the handler. But it's the best job, in my opinion, in law enforcement.
Wow.
It's the best job that I've ever done. And like I said, we're fortunate enough to have that K-9 team on our police force right now. And then in January, the Governor's Crime Commission gave us a grant where we're getting another one. So we get another one in January. So we have two on the force.
Well, heads up to the drug dealers out there around Nashville. New dog, Renzo. Great. So, we talk about crime. Can you give us, and Lieutenant Sherrod did that, but you may have some things that we didn't think about. The season is here.
Yes.
And we want everybody to be safe. So what would you tell folks, the folks at home?
Well, first and foremost, as Lieutenant Sherrod said, and I want to reiterate, lock your cars, It's very simple. You know, I don't care if you're 300 yards off the road. I don't care if you're 20 feet off the road. Lock your vehicle. Take your valuables out of your vehicle. Don't let your valuables be seen.
Right.
When you go shopping, shop in pairs. If you take valuables back to your car to go back in and spend more money and shop some more, make sure you hide those valuables.
Yes.
Don't put them where people can see them. Criminals are, you know, what they do is they're enticed by things they see.
Right. Right.
So, for example, if they see those valuables, they see that computer in that car, that's the car they're going to try to break into and get. And as Lieutenant Sherrod said, they're probably not going to break the window in the car because they don't want to make the noise. They don't want to make the alarm go off.
Exactly.
The other thing is, and I'm not promoting Ring doorbell camera or Google Nest or any of that, but cameras. Put cameras up. It's very simple.
Absolutely.
That way you can keep an eye on your packages when you have them order from Amazon. When that, you know, Amazon driver comes up and delivers that package.
Yes.
If anybody else comes up, your alarm's going to go off on your phone if you're at work, and you can call the police and have them come in. They also help us too. You know, what I would like to do is I would like to start a camera registration with the police department because many houses do have cameras.
Yes.
So what I would like to do is just know who has cameras. So we have a rash of vehicle breaking and enterings in a neighborhood.
Yes.
We know what houses to go to.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that particular victim may not have a camera, but instead of having to do a canvas, the next door neighbor might, and that solves a lot of crime.
Yeah.
So those are some things that, you know, that we would recommend.
Sure.
When you go, if you go on vacation and you go out of town or you're not going to be home for Christmas,
Yes.
call the police department so we can do a house check on your house.
Right.
And what we'll do is at least once or twice a shift, the officers will go by your house and they will get out of their vehicle and walk around your house and make sure it's secure. If there are any issues that arise, we'll call the number that you leave with us and let you know what's going on.
Right.
Have somebody get your mail. Don't leave your mail in your mailbox.
Absolutely.
You know, if you take your trash can to the end of the driveway, have somebody move the trash can if you're not going to be there.
Right.
Don't let anybody know that you're not there. Don't advertise
give indicators.
it. Exactly. And don't post on Facebook or Snapchat or any
Don't
of your
even
social
get me
media.
started about
You know,
that.
if you're on
Gosh.
vacation, enjoy your vacation. Take pictures. But wait until you return
Yeah,
home.
let us see them later.
Exactly.
If
because,
you must.
because all you're doing is letting criminals know that you're not home.
Absolutely.
So wait till you get back and let everybody enjoy those pictures then.
And another thing, Chief, I think about, we get excited, and we open our gifts, we get all these electronics, we get a 50-inch television, and we take it out of the box, and we put the box at the
On the
road
curb
for the trash
and
pickup.
advertise it.
Please don't tell people what you're
Right.
getting. Please don't.
Right. Take it to the local dump. You know, throw it away in the cardboard section, or either, you know, if you have a trash can, fold it up and put it in the trash can.
Yes,
You know, if that's
absolutely.
what you need to do, but don't advertise what you got.
Yes.
That's a way to let criminals know that, you know, this is what we're getting.
Yep.
You know, the other thing is when you put gifts around the tree, you know, try not to put your tree up where it can be seen through the front door.
Right.
You know, and I mean, we often give pointers to people when we go do a residential survey. One thing is, you know, put that pointed holly bush shrubbery up in the backyard.
Yes.
Make a barrier so people won't want to get in.
Yes.
Make sure your windows are locked. Just little things like that. And if you
Yes.
need us in Nashville to come out and look at your house and give you some pointers, we'll be glad to do that.
Oh, that's nice. It's a good customer service
Yes,
that
ma'am.
you provide. Wow, that's good. Well, you've given some good pointers, and so has Lieutenant Sherrod this morning, so hopefully we'll all stay safe. And it's all in thinking about what we're doing, because we're so busy. I mean, we have a list of things, and you know, we got to get this done, and we hurriedly do things, and we don't think sometimes. I know I don't, so sometimes I'll forget something. Why did I do that? So anyway, let's be safe this holiday season. Thank you, Chief Puckett, for
Thank
being
you.
on this morning. Hopefully you'll come back again.
Yes, ma'am.
You definitely passed the test. So anyway, make it a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next week on the K-Files.
Being prepared and trained is the best way to keep your family safe. The best way to be prepared is to learn from those who've spent a lifetime protecting us. Barnes Safety and Consulting LLC offers concealed carry classes with instructors who are law enforcement officers active and retired with more than 100 years of law enforcement experience. Monthly classes are taught year-round with private classes and special group rates available. Classes are $75 and held in the Bailey area. Call or text 1-800-653-0643. Get your concealed carry permit and avoid becoming a victim.